Yes, welcome to Coin Court. Site Matters Matters. And this week, for the benefit of everybody, we've got an update on exactly what's happening in the world of the internet. And joining me in our studios here at Coin Court is Josh Radcliffe from Manx Telecom. Welcome, young man.
Thank you very much, Rob. It's good to be here.
Fibre is the word.
Mm-hmm.
At present on the island, how far does that reach?
You may have heard that the copper network switch off is occurring in zones 1 and 2 first. The reason for this is because the fibre outreach has reached the most people in those zones. So it has the highest percentage of people which are currently converted to fibre, and that's why we are starting the programme in those areas. Just to give you a quick idea, those areas are Foxdale, St John's, Kirkmichael, Ballaugh, Sulby, Andreas, Derby and Bride. So we're covering a lot of the north of Ireland to start, but as we move on, we will be moving through a zonal schedule until we have reached the entire island.
What is the main difference in layman's terms between copper and fibre then?
The most basic way I could put it really is it's the same service, we're just powering it through a different method. So whereas your traditional copper landline services, your traditional copper broadband services, rather than powering them through copper-based infrastructure in the ground, we're just swapping that out for faster and more reliable fibre infrastructure. It's the same service you're used to, it's just we're powering it through a more faster and efficient method.
As far as the home owner is concerned, or the tenant or whatever, and they've got copper, what do they have to do to achieve fibre?
So all they have to do really is to get in touch with their service provider. It doesn't have to be Manx Telecom. It could be Shaw, Domicilium, WiMAX, and then organise a fibre installation. So what this will involve is some properties may need a survey carried out to understand the infrastructure at that specific property. But from there, it's a simple case of just installing the fibre. You must be home at the point of installation, as our engineers will need access to the house, but it's just a simple case of drilling a small hole, usually around the width of, I'd say, a small pipe, through the wall, so we can plug the fibre into a router, and then you're good to go. As I say, it does depend on the property, but all this is handled at the survey stage.
And then all of a sudden you see the man up a pole.
Mm-hmm.
The man at the pole then brings fibre to your house. What do you have as, the word isn't disturbance, but what happens in your house?
Okay, so in your house, what we'd need to do is understand the best place for fibre to reach, essentially. We need to make sure that the whole house has connectivity from the fibre broadband. So we just need to understand the best place to place the router. And from that, we can understand where's the best place to drill a hole through the outside and in. So it's really more of a case of location, just understand where we can reach full connectivity within the property. And that's simply it, really.
I have already had mine installed.
Yeah.
And to be truthful, we caused one or two problems because possibly like a lot of our people who listen to this, mine's is an old Manx stone house, and that causes problems. And you just said you've got to decide where the router goes in order to achieve the signal around the house.
Yes. Yeah.
So you've got to make sure that it's the right place in order to achieve it.
Exactly, especially with some of the way the old houses are built. Yeah, we're talking thicker walls, different materials to what you may find on a new build. It's just simply finding the best case scenario for each individual purpose, really. And that can vary, that can change, but our engineers are really good at the way they handle these situations and very efficient as well. They've been doing this for a long time now, and hopefully over the next few years we can really hone in on just making sure every case is perfect.
Awkward question. What happens if people don't want fibre?
It's a great question. And at the minute, this depends on the status of your property. So we currently work with a traffic light system. And this is the way we've divided properties up within the zones. So this is green, amber and red listed properties. Green properties, essentially ready to go, no issues involved. These properties are given a 12-month deadline from when the switch off starts to make sure they are transitioned over to fibre. In some cases, these customers may not want to switch over to fibre in terms of a broadband or landline. We're finding a lot of the time now, some people may be ceasing their landlines. They find they don't need them anymore once they've switched to fibre broadband. But that deadline is in place, and that's when the copper network is switched off and the copper services are seized. Amber listed properties are a bit different. They are giving more time in the switch off just because that includes properties which require a bit of additional work. For example, they may need a survey from the planning team to understand if they use buried cables, which is a completely different issue entirely, which I can happily go through as well. And then there are red listed properties as well, where our network hasn't quite expanded to the point we want it to in those areas. And then they will also have more time. We need to make sure that everyone has a minimum of at least 12 months to decide to make the switch. But as I say, certain properties are giving additional time and extra help along that process.
When you say we, give me a telephone number in case people want to contact you.
Yeah, no worries at all. You can contact our newly made Future Ready team on 626-626, and they can handle all fibre queries. Even if it's just a basic question or a run through, we'll be happy to assist. And then also, if you're listening through Site Matters, for example, if you mention my name, Josh Radcliffe, I'm in touch with them quite frequently and also coming to do several events. So if you require personal, maybe home visit services or one-to-one assistance, please do mention myself to Site Matters and I can happily assist where possible.
Good. We have been looking at the world of fibre, broadband, etc., this afternoon on Site Matters. My guest from Manx Telecom is Josh Radcliffe, and now it's time to get back to the studio.